Let's talk about the fallout of yesterday's meeting. The umpire was there. In fact, those that will keep watch over the process, the security agencies, especially the IG, he spoke in that particular meeting with political parties. And your party is amongst the very many who kicked against his comment concerning the advice of voting and going home.
That's wrong. That's against the Electoral Act. And the INEC chairman has been quite lucid on that. He did say, and he quoted the relevant portions of the Electoral Act to back his assertion, that you are allowed to stay to vote and stay there and monitor your vote, as long as you are not violent and you are not disturbing the process.
Not 300 meters.
Not 300 meters at all. Well, how would you then monitor your vote 300 meters away? 300 meters is about a third of 1 kilometer. I mean, I don't know how good your sight will be to be able to monitor what goes on 300 meters away. That's a far distance. So it is not correct. Once what we are saying is the law, is the Electoral Act. We did not design the Electoral Act. It is this same government that did.
Tell us.
So why should they not obey their own laws and their own acts?
Not this government. National Assembly.
Well, populated by PDP, because they've been in majority. They've been in majority, so they've always carried the day.
Let's look at your party, just the agents who are supposed to represent your party.
Right.
What form of trust do you have in them? Because if you do trust them, one wonders if there should be any reason for you to stay back.
No. It's not a question of the agents this time around. We trust our agents very well. And the reason why we trust our agents is simple. It's because of the desire of majority of Nigerians for change. And that desire, this is the only time since June 12, 1993, that you could feel the pulse of Nigerians, the desire, the palpable desire of Nigerians yearning for change. It was only evident in the June 12, 1993 elections, where everybody came out to vote. And mark you, that election was peaceful. It was free. It was fair. There were no soldiers around. I mean, there were no harassment. There were no recorded incidents at all. Once the people are desirous of change, they will stick it. They will not want anything to truncate the process. And that's why we have confidence in our agents, because they also desire change. In fact, I'm really, really pleasantly amazed. In the last 1.5 weeks, everywhere we've gone, across a broad spectrum of the populace, that desire for change is burning, is a burning desire. Except you are eating your hands in gloves with those parasitic elites that are sucking the blood of Nigerians, you will desire change.
But you know what happens in football matches? If Man U is playing Liverpool, both of them boast, I will beat this team still.
That's normal in a game like this. That's normal. Even I'm not surprised about that. Even the man who knows he's got to lose, who has not worked hard for this, who has no record, or who has a very dismal record to contest on or to defend, would still boast.
What about the man who thinks he will win and still boast, but at the end of the day he gets there and it doesn't go his way? Those kind of scenarios also happen.
There are also factors that may affect that. It's either he has been rigged out. He could have been rigged out. In this instance, for instance, we know that the dismal record of this present administration stares everybody in the face. And except, like I said, your hands in gloves with them in perpetrating the injustices and the evil against Nigerians, you would desire change.
Because the beauty of that June 12 you mentioned was acceptance of those who won or who were defeated. Chamberlain asked a question, for instance, if you lost in an election,
right,
the speed with which you can accept that result of that election can also help that process. And that was one of the reasons we didn't see any form of violence in the June 12, 1993 elections.
No. I was a party to that election, to the pre, the during, and the post of that election. I was in the vortex of it all. I was the editor of a paper published by the winner of that election. And I worked with him closely for 13 years. So I was really in the crucible of the entire June 12 saga. And I can tell you with all emphasis at my disposal that it was simply because it was obvious that the elections were free and fair. And that did not engender any violence at all. If the elections are not free and fair, that is where tempers will rise. It's not because the losers accepted immediately. No. It was obvious to all and sundry, local and international observers, and everybody globally, that the elections were free and fair. We saw it. So there was no reason for anybody to start any agitations at all. And it was even imperative and compulsory for the losers to accept, because he couldn't have done otherwise. It was so obvious.
We can draw from that election.
The singular lesson and the most crucial lesson to draw from that is to ensure that our elections remain free and fair. That is the sine qua non for peace, for post-election peace, especially in our environment.
All right, I have this comment still on that 300 meters matter. It's a quote actually from INEC's Twitter account. It says, "The Electoral Act states no loitering within 300 meters of a polling unit." Jega.
No loitering is different from you are monitoring. You are not loitering. Jega himself told us that. And he read the portion of that electoral. You're not loitering. Loitering, you know the definition of loitering. You vote, and after your vote, you wait, and it is counted. That's not loitering. Once it's counted, the results are announced there, everybody disperses. That happened in June 12, and everybody saw it, and there was no reason for anybody to start wielding cudgels and cutlasses and guns and all of that. You see, there must be an action before a reaction. If there is no action of rigging, there wouldn't be any reaction of violence.